pile of coaches onto his positive intelligence training. And all the coaches that went on that training were told, Darko and I did it as well. We were told, training 100x your coaching results. It was all, we're going to help you make a ton of money, have a ton of impact, 10 times your money, 10 times your impact, 10 times the number of clients, 10 times. And 1 year later, I don't think anyone made a cent. The actual thing was, it actually did damage for a lot of people. It burned a whole ton of coaches out. We had a whole pile of people go through practitioner, and instead of developing their coaching skills, they went into his program and they all failed and dropped out and died. Well, didn't quite die. So you've got to be careful of the fakes, okay? Be careful of the fakes. There is a lot of fakes. Time to discuss getting your first paying clients. It's not about the money, or is it? Guys, I actually argue with people about money all the time. I think money is something that the majority of people get wrong. And I think I personally believe I get it less wrong. I know I'm not doing the perfect thing, but when you start making money from your coaching clients, that allows you to continue on your journey. I was well into coaching before I became a professional coach and a paid coach. I was just enthusiastic about helping people be more mindful, helping people step into empowerment, helping people change their minds a little bit. After a few years doing this, I started to learn about a profession called coaching, and it kind of hit me. I can actually get paid for this. So I went and did more coaching courses. I spent my first $10,000 or something doing a coaching course in Australia. And on the coaching course in Australia, there was like 50, 60 people around me. Today, only 2 or 3 of them are actually coaching. Most of them are not coaching. And I think that's a pity. I think that's a bummer. I think the world is missing out because we've got a lot of people investing good money on quality training and they're not becoming coaches. That's my goal, is to kind of see if we can change that a little bit, get you guys rolling. So yeah, it is about the money. It is. Because once you get paid, you can keep going. Once you get paid, you can keep going. It's a way of knowing you're on the right track. My understandings come from these guys. These are the brains behind NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. I actually started with listening to their tapes, cassette tapes, and listening to their CDs on personal development. I learned from CDs, cassette tapes, and ripping free stuff off the internet. Once I had enough money, though, I paid and flew around the world to learn from these guys. I've got certification from all the leaders in NLP. And last year, I was in the Coaching Master Summit. So this is a summit not organized by a couple of people on Facebook. These are some of the top names in the industry. One of them here works for Tony Robbins, and I just paid him $1,000 today. And as you can see, I'm one of the youngest faces in here. We also do this kind of training. We got students here from Belgium, Australia, South Africa, Germany, England, Austria, India, Netherlands, Australia, America, Russia, Ireland, Brazil, China, Germany, and Singapore. International people coming together training. That's it. That's a sales pitch corn. We're doing training in Bali in 2 weeks if anyone's interested in this lovely resort. A little bit about me, 3,000 plus coaching hours, still new to this. Certified by some of their creators, still a lot more to go. We run NLP basic and advanced training online. We have it so students can easily come in and develop themselves for 3 months or 2 years. As you can see, we're largely international, largely English-speaking, world, global-minded people. Now, a couple of things about the coaching industry. Hope you can see what's in purple. If you can't, I'll read it out for you. The coaching market generated 62% more money in 2022 compared to 2019. The number of coaches went from 71,000 to 110,000. It's an increase of 54%. The coaching industry market size is estimated to have a value of $20 billion. That's by the ICF. Do we have any ICF coaches here? If we have any ICF coaches, please let us know in the chat window. If you don't know what the ICF is, that's perfectly okay. It's okay if you don't know what the ICF is. The ICF, they did a bit of a rebrand. Here's my last business card from the ICF. They did a little bit of a rebrand. Where is it? There it is. Sorry, other side. They did a bit of a rebrand a couple of years ago. The ICF is. Whoop, camera's gone. The ICF is, without a doubt, the world's largest accreditation body or organization related to professional coaching. So the ICF is the world standard. Nothing else comes close to it. I love it when that camera goes fuzzy. I think the cameras have a bit too much wine. Do we have any ICF coaches in the room? Anyone completed ICF training? Darko, who's done his ICF training?
Yes.
Okay, so not everyone does ICF training, but
yes, I think the biggest benefit I got from ICF is that it gives a structure. So now I know when I'm with the client, I know how to structure beginning, middle of the session, and how to end the session, and also further steps. So there are questions they're offering. So it is good to have, and it is in terms of personal benefit when your ICF is a different value.
When I started, I mentioned I learned from those guys, their tapes, their CDs. I did NLP level 1 first. And after level 1, I knew some great magic tricks, but I couldn't quite coach properly or therapy properly. I went and spent 10 grand on a coaching course, and I found the missing links. Then I did my next level of NLP, the master level, and now I can coach absolutely anything in the world. The ICF is really good for giving you a framework. The NLP we talk about, neuro-linguistic programming, that's on a higher level. So NLP you can use in therapy, coaching, mentoring, leadership, family, relationships, love, self, procrastination, anxiety, strategies, name it. NLP can do it all. Coaching is a conversation that takes place between two people, a conversation. And the ICF provides a framework around how that conversation should be done and how it looks. We also include that on our master level training. But anyway, so the ICF is really good. They're the world leading body. And the ICF has confirmed that there are billions of dollars being made in coaching. Billions. Now, this is where it might get a bit interesting. With a career in life coaching, you get the flexibility, the power to set up your own goals and outcomes, the ability to serve others while building up all the skills you need to live your own best life. How beautiful is that? And it's true. But will it make you financially rich? That depends. If you're a student of the I specifically don't want everything being shared here to be released out to the public. Now, what I do need you to do is to think outside the box. If billions are being made, billions, where is it going? Where is the money going? There are billions being made. There are billions being made. Where is it going? How many people have done coaching courses? As I mentioned, the one I went on had like 50, 60 people. Yet a few years later, only 2 or 3 are actually coaching. So there's billions being made, but where is it going? How many people do you know that are calling themselves coaches, coming up as coaches? Yeah, I'm a coach, and some of them even pretend to be a high-paying coach. Yet, how many of these coaches and new coaches have actually quit their job to coach full-time and then doing it for more than 2 years? Because that is a sign of a successful coach. Yeah? Darko is a full-time coach. I'm a full-time coach, trainer, and investor. So I've got 3 hats I wear: coaching, training, and investing. And the coaching and training has been making money for me over the last 14, 15 years. The investing has made money for me over the last 24 years. That's why I keep doing it. The thing is, people want to make positive difference. People want to impact the world around them. But succeeding as a coach is hard. Succeeding as a coach is hard. Or just about any school will happily say, come into our school, we'll teach you, we'll teach you. But at the end of the day, most won't succeed. But you can. You can. You can. So has anyone seen this graph before? Or a graph like it? On the left side, we have our very, very high performance, or you could say very high paid people. There's a small number of hyper performers on one side that are getting huge sales, doing huge success, but it comes down and you get a big, broad range of average and the long tail. The number of low performers doesn't stop here. Hey, Darko, can you see where my mouse is?
Yes.
You can? Okay. Well, where my mouse is, that isn't the end. It keeps going. 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 Right? So the majority of people that do coaching, when they start, they're way, way, way off the charts. And it takes time to get across here. It takes time to get across here. And very few people, naturally, very, very few people will actually make it to the green, let alone the yellow. But I've got good news for you. You don't have to get all the way to the green. You see, an average professional coach earns good enough. An average professional coach earns enough and has a good lifestyle. It's just a matter of getting there. But this throws a few hammers in the works. This is a normal bell curve.
Adrian.
Hey, Bernard.
There is a comment. Bianca says that she cannot see the information. She's not seeing the screen you're sharing.
Okay, Bianca. Hey, I'll try again, Bianca. But if you're on your, depending on what device you're in, the information will display a bit differently. If you can't see the slides, guys, if anyone can't see the slides, you're actually going to be fine. There's only a couple of images that get across information. Most of the slides are just for our friends that like to really see pictures and words. I'm a talker. So if you can't see, relax. What happens back in the day? Some people in this room might be a little bit older than me, or a little bit younger and older than me. Back in the day, you used to get books and CDs and music from the people around you, from your community. How many books do you have that are probably the same or probably in other people's bookshelves? How many books do you have that are in other people's bookshelves? Does anyone here have a Joe Dispenza book? Or a Tony Robbins book? Or a Bruce Lipton book, or a Napoleon Hill book? Let me know if you got any of those books. Eckhart Tolle, Bruce Lipton, Joe Dispenza, Tony Robbins. Anyone got any of those books? And Darko's like, I got all of them. Right? Now, these books, here's another one. Dr. John Gray, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. All these books are on the far left. They're on the very, very high performers. These are super books. These are like celebrity books. Now, you take most of my bookshelf, go to Darko, and Darko will probably have half of the same bookshelf. Bernadette, she looks at my bookshop. She goes, yeah, I got that one, I got that one, I got that one, I got that one. Yeah? People come to my house, they see my bookshelf, they're like, oh, I got that one, I got that one, I got that one. And they're like, oh, I've seen these guys. And, you know, we have a small number of publishers, but their books are getting in every household. This, in terms of coaching, means that someone like Tony Robbins says what's true and false, not the average, not the majority of people. So we're led to believe what's on the high end rather than what's real. We end up being sold and we end up buying things because of this trick. We end up following hyper performers. Yeah, we want to make, some people want to make millions of dollars or billions of dollars, right? Some of these books on how to coach, how to make money coaching, is by people that are up in the hyper performers. And it may or may not quite be right, because there's always got to be someone over there. Now we have your more traditional bell curve. In a more traditional bell curve, that's more what it used to be. Prior to globalization, we would have more of a bell curve. Back in the day, if you were a local musician, people in your town knew who you were. Now, local musician and no one knows who they are in their own town. And you'll see this will throw a couple of hurdles at us. But if we look at the bell curve, most people are going to be in the middle. But when we start as coaches, where are we? When we start as coaches, we're at the beginning of the journey. So we've got a fair way to go. But good news, all you got to do is, all you got to really do is just get a bit further ahead. This is a friend of mine, past student, Janine. You see Janine, this is her LinkedIn. She's got down the bottom here, show all 21 received. This is Janine's LinkedIn. I'm going to show this to you guys. If you ever want to look for a coach, you want to check out their LinkedIn profiles, because it's hard to bullshit LinkedIn, where it sees a lot of people in this industry make stuff up. So Janine's the real deal. And you can see on her profile, you can see her experience. She's been full-time founding She's been full-time soft skills executive coaching since 2018. Since 2018, full-time. Also being a lecturer at university. You can see her training. You can see her skills. And you can see a pile of recommendations. Is Janine the real deal?
Yes,
Yeah.
sure.
Janine is the real deal. Here's another one of our stars, Dino. Dino's profile looks good. And if you look in the experience, you can see he's been full-time coaching. Just about 4 years now. 4 years full-time. I think Janine, Dino, and I have all done motivational TEDx talks and stuff. Now, Dino, what about recommendations for Dino? I gave him one just the other day. So Dino's got references as well. Is Dino the real deal? I think he is.
But...
Now, Janine and Dino are people you might want to look to if you want to develop your coaching skills. Bestseller person, he put a whole pile of coaches onto his positive intelligence training. And all the coaches that went on that training were told, Darko and I did it as well. We were told, training 100x your coaching results. It was all, we're going to help you make a ton of money, have a ton of impact, 10 times your money, 10 times your impact, 10 times the number of clients, 10 times. And 1 year later, I don't think anyone made a cent. The actual thing was it actually did damage for a lot of people. It burnt a whole ton of coaches out. We had a whole pile of people go through practitioner, and instead of developing their coaching skills, they went into his program and they all failed and dropped out and died. Well, it didn't quite die. So you've got to be careful of the fakes, okay? Be careful of the fakes. There is a lot of fakes. As mentioned, we sell some training, but we don't care if you buy it. I want you guys to succeed, so be careful of the fakes. Whenever you're going to buy some coaching or some coach training, check out their LinkedIn. There is no reason why, if you're dealing with something where reputation is important, there's no real reason why you wouldn't have a LinkedIn profile. Okay, so if you want to get clients and start moving forward, we've got to recognize what's fake and what's not. Hopefully here, I'm going to give you what's not, and I'll give you what serves you. There's two main steps in getting your first client. SD, or self-development, and BD, business development. If you don't have clients, it's an SD issue, not a business issue. If you don't have clients, it's a self-development issue. That's a fact for me. If you are having success with clients but don't have enough, then it's a BD problem, business development. So we're focusing on SD, the self-development, getting your mindset right and getting your first clients. Because if you don't have clients at all, it's up here in your head, I believe. So we want to clearly differentiate between our business development, growing a business, making a social media profile, and our self-development or even skill development. Yeah. A lot of the time, coaches find themselves over here doing their business development, but they haven't done enough skill or self-development. You can get out there and have a really beautiful business card, really beautiful website, and have no clients. I see it all the time. I know people that go out, they get business cards, and then 6 months later, they're waiting for their website to be finished, and then 6 months later, 1 2 years have passed, and they still haven't got their first client. So put all the business on hold and focus on your skill and self-development. Make sense? Right? As soon as you work on your skills and self-development, you'll get the courage or the balls to get a client. And as soon as you get your first client, you are then a coach. If you don't have any clients, you're not a coach. Darko?
Yes, I want to share something from my experience.
Yeah,
so
thanks, man.
I was investing a lot of time into my self-development, not focusing on the business, but on self-development, to going through some my issues. And after some time, let's say 2-3 years, I saw that now I have developed myself, and I start feeling the need to share with people, to get the clients. So it feels a little selfish for myself if I have developed and achieved something and not to get client to help other to. So that was from inside something pushing me. So yes,
You were
so that
saying
was
it
I
was
want to share.
selfish of you not to coach others because you were working on
Not to,
yourself too.
yes, of course, to know that something I have something help to me, I have something I found that helped me achieve results, and it is selfish if I have not share with others. So that's how I
It's
get
selfish
more.
if you don't share your gifts. And it's even more selfish when people want and need your gifts. But instead of serving them, you're questioning your value.
Mm,
I hate that. Stop questioning your value. Get a client. And your best client might just be next door. Now, guys, if you want to get clients before you finish your training or before you've done a year or two, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Okay, so if you get yourself enrolled in any kind of program and start getting clients or have your first clients, I don't have a single problem with that. But if you start lying or misleading people, then I have a problem. Justice is a high value for me, right? I want people to be honest. And the truth is Darko could have started 2 years earlier. He could have started coaching earlier, but he took a while, or he took a year or two to get through his training. And then, he had enough confidence and everything to go out and start selling. But I reckon he could have started a year earlier, at least. Yeah.
it's just I could.
Now, the thing is, the reason I say that so confidently is because when he helped me, he wasn't 100% confident, but he did the job. And I said to him, dude, you're doing a great job. I'm a hard person to coach. You're doing a good job. You should do more of this. And he's like, oh, I don't know, I might have been one of your 20th or 30th client, but wherever you are in life, there are people that are behind you. Wherever you are in life, there are people behind you. There are people struggling with the challenges you've conquered in the last months, years. What have you done that's been great in the last year or two that other people are trying to accomplish? Have you learned how to get over a narcissistic relationship? Have you learned how to fall in love? Have you learned how to date? Have you learned something cool? Have you overcome a challenge? Chances are there's someone else that wants to do that and you can help them. So you don't need to wait till you complete a lot of training. In fact, with our NLP course, I urge our students to get clients straight away. Most of our NLP people are working with clients before they finish the course. That way, we get to push them a little bit and we get to say, why haven't you got someone? And when they say they haven't got anyone, we say, hey, go knock on the next door neighbor. Go next door. See if you can coach the neighbor. Hey, Jay, thanks for backing that up. I think, and Bernadette here, she worked with a training organization back in the day. She's had the goods for many, many years. She's had the goods. So Jay and Bernadette are now stepping up more and more. They've been working on themselves coming up to it. And we often talk about, well, we should develop our business, but they know the clients just evolve. Jay, Bernadette, they have their first clients without social media marketing. Bernadette, Jay, me, Darko, I think we all got our first clients without business development, without marketing. Yeah? Is that clear? You do not need to do social media. You can, but you don't need to, especially not for your first clients. Besides, what are you going to put on your website? What are you going to put on your business card? You don't know yet. Now, so back to step one. I would like to suggest, if it's really important for you, maybe start managing and tracking your time. What's measured is managed. If you really want to get the big results, whenever you start coaching, your trainers should teach you to have a coaching journal. Put in the name of who you're coaching, the date, the number of sessions, put in the coaching journal. But I'd like to expand your coaching journal. See, my coaching journal has my coaching sessions, but it also has my sales sessions, my pro bono sessions, my training sessions. I don't do it now because I have enough clients, I have enough business. But anytime I measure and consistently measure, maybe 4 weeks in a row, or for 4 months in a row, if I measure my time, what's measured is managed. Plus, if you really want to set yourself up, at the end of the month or at the end of the week, you review your coaching, and maybe at the start it doesn't look like much, but when you see the names, it can also be a reminder to follow up. So when I go through my coaching log, I can see the names of who I coach. I can also see the session. And you know what? When I do my coaching review, I can easily just go, I should message that person. Oh, I should message that person. Oh, I should message that person. You know, if you measure and manage your hours, obviously you'll get better results. But when it comes to business development, be careful of this international best time selling stuff. Because a lot of the times it's an international bestseller because it has an international marketing budget behind it. A marketing budget. Quick one. Has anyone seen the book Persuasion by Robert Cialdini? Persuasion, Robert Cialdini. Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. The first year it sold very, very few copies, and it was rejected by a pile of editors. So was Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Work Week. Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Work Week. Imagine all the publishers were rejecting his book. Years later, Robert Cialdini and Tim Ferriss both had international bestsellers. But the thing is, it took years because they didn't have a marketing budget. The book was good, so people bought it and they told their friends. The book was good, people bought it and told their friends. The book was good, they told their friends. People all around the world know it. Oh, I've heard of that book. Like Viktor Frankl, A Man's Search for Meaning. A lot of people talk about the book. It gets on the best-selling list. Sorry, not the best-selling list. It gets on the most recommended lists. So the books often end up becoming a bestseller after so many years. Hence why I focus on growing the community, not on doing business development. Why would I want to focus on business development? I focus on my people and grow them. So careful of business development. It's in self or skill development. But still, your BD might be important and you might want to speed it up. Okay, this is a photograph from the book Flow. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. So the left-hand side is challenges and challenge level. Down the bottom, skill level. When we start as a coach or when we start in a new industry, where would you say the challenge is? Is it a high challenge starting in a new industry? It's a low challenge starting in an industry you already know. So if you're starting a new industry or a new profession like coaching, the challenge at the start is high. And where are your skills? Well, your skills are probably low because you're starting. So if you look at this, diagram, what emotion would you probably be experiencing when you start as a coach?
Anxiety. Hear from that.
And we wonder why coaches don't succeed. It's just a fact. The challenge level is high, the skill level is low, it takes time. Got to chunk down, bite things down in smaller pieces. Turn it into stuff you can handle. Turn the challenge down a little bit. Get your skill across a little bit. As your skill increases, it'll get easier and easier. But at the start, it's high. It's an uphill battle at the start. Any questions about flow? We've talked about flow a few times in a few seminars. Flow is awesome. The book, Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, it is a phenomenal book. Zero marketing budget, became a bestseller after years of people finding out about it. That's a real book. Don't go for any books written by journalists, unless journalist books are great for a skim over. For example, you can do the Wim Hof. A friend of mine, a client of mine, was just with Wim Hof 2 weeks ago. You can do the Wim Hof and learn the Wim Hof, but there's also a book, I think it's James Nestor Breathe. He overviews the book and he just makes it so much more exciting, but he cuts out half the details and half the important bits. Books by journalists are more exciting because journalists and New York Times know it's just about making people feel good. But if you want to actually get results, you need competence as well as the feel good. Okay, step 2. So step 1, business development, self-development. Get into your self-development, keep developing yourself. As soon as you get a client, that client will help you develop. As soon as you get your first client, that will help you develop. Can you say that again? Your first clients will help you develop. So as soon as you have your first client or clients, you will develop more. So stop doing business, get in and just get your first business, get your first clients. You get your first clients not through web pages, go through actually talking. Okay, so to become a coach, start by adopting your new identity. You are a coach. Stand in your strengths. You're not perfect, but you've committed to your journey. My 9-year-old coached me.
No.
My 9-year-old coached me brilliantly yesterday. I went to the doctors to take my boy to see the doctor because he had something, and the doctor called him Stinky. Stinky 1 and Stinky 2. So my daughter and my son, the doctor called him Stinky 1 and Stinky 2. I'm like, what the hell? Just slap you, fatso. You know, it was a big doctor. My kids aren't stinky. And I got a little bit offended by it. And afterwards, I spoke to my daughter about it. I said, Joy, I'm a little bit offended about what the doctor said. Also, a couple of the other things the doctor said. She's supposed to be professional. And my daughter, Joy, said, Dad, you're a coach. Dad, you're a coach. Shouldn't you like encourage them to be better or something? That's right. That's right. And that really got me. That really got me. Because I said to her, there's a couple of things we can do. You know, I can call the boss because, you know, I know her boss. I can call the doctor's boss. And my daughter's like, oh, but in the end, when my daughter said, Adrian, you're a coach. You do better. It made me do better. So that's what we got to do, guys. We've got to become a coach. Now, Bernadette's here for son. She doesn't coach her son all the time. She doesn't formally coach her son. But she's conscious of her language. She's conscious of her language. And if she gets worked up or something, she'll go walk. Yeah? Becoming a coach isn't something you just do in front of your clients. You have to become the coach. You become the Tony Robbins. Of course, maybe you become your own brand of Tony Robbins. You become your own version. Take some of Michael. Take some of Tony Robbins, you take some different personalities, but you've got to be a coach. You've got to stand in your power. Some people will go as far as having a hat or a t-shirt. If you want to have a hat or a t-shirt, awesome, go for it. If you are a member of an ICF or you've done NLP training, maybe get a t-shirt that says NLP, stop procrastination. Having a t-shirt or a hat or some shirts that say, you know, coach, performance coach, I think it's an awesome idea. 1, it's a bit of business development. 2, when you're wearing your hat that says I'm a coach or I help people stop procrastination forever, when you're wearing that shirt, it's going to bring out the best in you. Becoming a coach is like becoming a superhuman. It takes time, good training, a lot of unlearning, and a lot of practice. But it's one of the coolest businesses in the world. You get paid to work on yourself. You get paid to help people be excellent. I got this picture here from a gentleman very high up in the hotel industry. If I ever want a hotel, I might go over to Richard Branson's island instead, because I know people in there. How? I helped them and they got there. Being a coach is awesome. It does make you superhuman. You still have problems, and every time you have a problem, it's an opportunity to coach yourself. So step 2, become a coach. Really, become a coach. Step into your power. It's funny that Bernadette and Jay are here. Become a coach. The beliefs of successful coaches are broken down and included in my training as the NLP presuppositions. If you want a copy of that, stay to the end. So in NLP, we have presuppositions, and those presuppositions are the beliefs of coaches. So we can flick that to you in the end. You want to adopt and coach yourself or get coached by fellow coaches. Beware of the blind following the blind. I'm about to do some training in Bali. I've got advanced, I've got beginners. The advanced people are going to coach and train the beginners on some stuff. That way, the beginners, the first time they do it, they're doing it with someone more experienced. A lot of coaching courses go like this. Hi there, I'm your expert. I'm at the front of the room. I've got grey hair. I've got certificates on the wall. And you, my 20, 30, 40, 100 students. Sorry, but that's how it is. That's how it normally is. And there's one person out the front, yeah, and there are these however many people, and then they break up into triads. Triads are great. 3 people get together, they coach each other. A coaches B, B coaches C, C coach A. So they coach around in a circle. One day, the next day, the next day. Coaching triads are great, but don't forget, none of these people are qualified. None of these people have actually completed the training. None of these people have coaching experience, so you get the blind leading the blind. Take it one step further. Anyone here into AI? Social media marketing? A lot of social media marketing and AI is the blind leading the blind. Only the people selling it, the people selling the marketing training, they're just a little bit in front in terms of coaching and marketing, but it's still the blind leading the blind. If you are a successful marketer, if you are a successful and a good marketer, you should be earning at least $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 per week, right? So a lot of people are on Facebook, adding people, trying to coach people on Facebook, but a lot of them aren't earning bugger all. So it ends up being the blind following the blind, because a lot of the people, they get the ideas from the hyper performers. So what you need to do is you need to get coaches that are in front of you. And here's a cool thing. Coaches like Janine Odino that I showed before, Darko, Bernadette, and Jay, you can work with these guys for less money than me. You can work with these guys for a lot less money than some of the superstar professionals. It's more affordable, it's easier to get going, and they've been working on themselves so they can see your patterns. Work with people like this, they've already got. Bernadette, how many years have you been doing coaching, training, and or in this industry?
35 years.
Alrighty, all right. So you can coach yourself, but you can also get some of our coaches.
Yeah.
Now, if you are going to coach yourself,
And I'm still being coached.
I bought a coaching package today from Sid Jacobson. That's a guy that coaches Tony Robbins coaches. Stuff it. I thought stuff it. I might be able to learn something from. If you're going to coach yourself, because real coaches keep getting coached, right? Bernadette and I, we met on some training a few years back. If you are going to coach yourself, use a whiteboard or a piece of paper. Write down what you're coaching yourself on and step back. So come in and you're you, step back and you're the coach. That helps if you're going to work on yourself, but coaching yourself is hard. Hire someone, work with someone. If you won't hire a coach, how is someone else going to hire you? I don't mean to push that. You can buy whoever you want. But part of believing that you are a coach generally means you have your own coach. So if you don't invest in your own training, if you don't invest in a coach, how are other people going to invest in you? Yeah. So that also makes it harder. At the start, we have a lot of challenges to get over. We got to buy training, and maybe we have to hire coaches or work with some people. But you can also do pro bono. There are other ways to reduce costs. But you know, if you won't invest in coaching, if you won't invest in training, how's anyone going to invest in you? Would you ever see a doctor that would never see a doctor? No. Now, I'm not saying that you got to spend bulk amounts as well. I hired Darko first, and I had him 4 times a week, so it was affordable. So we got to believe in coaching, 100% believe in coaching. If you don't believe in your ability, what can you do to get 100% congruence? Because you need to be able to sell yourself. You need to be able to hook or get someone into coaching. Certainty is an illusion, but everyone buys into it. Everyone buys into it. Now, if you don't have a lot of faith in your coaching, what else can you have? What else can you have confidence in? So I want you to have and make sure you have a statement like the bottom one. I, Adrian, have 100% faith that anyone that does 3 months with me will grow. 100%. Also note my body language. It's like this. Anyone that invests in my coaching, I hands down guarantee. 3 months with me, 100%, hands down guarantee, you will grow. And it's solid, it's confident. So now I can say to whoever, let's do this. Let's do it. Truth is, a deeper truth is that I could die next week. Yeah. I'm flying to Bali soon. My plane could go down and crash. Yeah. But that's pretty unlikely. If I come across to you and say, oh, I think the coaching works. Yeah. No one's going to buy into it. You need to be solid. You need to be solid with your belief. If you can't be solid about your coaching, get solid that coaching works. And if you're solid that coaching works, then you focus on that coaching works. Coaching really does work. If you do our NLP training as well, people have got no chance at all. Sometimes people are so busy holding on to a problem. All you need to do sometimes is just listen to them and understand, and they will loosen their grip. Whoop, and they will drop the problem. Yeah. Sometimes people just need to chunk up, chunk down, chunk sideways, see things in a different perspective, and they drop the problem. To maintain a problem takes effort and work. It's actually a lot easier to lose the problem. Coaching isn't that hard, especially if you start with the NLP first. But anyway, requirements. So we're moving from being a successful coach into creating our first clients. Got a couple of requirements here. Let me know if you like the requirements. For those who can't see it, requirements to be a successful coach: 2 ears, 1 mouth, basic coach training, authentic intentions. Authentic intentions. If you want to get more advanced, bring a notebook and pen into it. Hoping I'd have some laughter. No laughter with that one. All you need is a pen. So really, it's not that hard to get going. Now, okay, I had a gentleman maybe 7-8 years back. He lived out on Phuket. He was actually a backpacker. He backpacked across Australia and Asia, and he stayed in Asia and started to work as a dive instructor, and then later as a hotel manager. And when he connected with me, he was working in a resort in Phuket. We worked together. I normally have people closing their eyes, visualizing stuff, hypnosis, all kinds of stuff. He didn't want to close his eyes at all. So we coached with eyes open. He doesn't want to close his eyes, fine. Just being flexible. I heard him out. I heard where he was. I liked his vision. So he worked with me. He got promoted. Happy days, both paid, all happy. Year or so later, he calls me up again. He's in a new hotel. He's going for a new job. He calls me up, asks me to help him again. I help him get promoted again. Woohoo! Happy. A little while later, he called me up again. This time he's going for a job with Richard Branson. You know, the guy that owns Virgin Airlines and the Necker Island. He was going for a job with Richard. Coached him. He went for the job. Great. Good news. 6 months later, no news. No news. About a year and a half later, he called me up. Adrian, I got a second chance. This time they flew him to London to meet Richard. Went for the interview with Richard. Everything great, sweet. Flew back to his island, different island now. He's near Cambodia, Thailand there. And getting ready to move the whole family across the Necker Island, and radio silence again. Nothing. Totally missed out. And then another 6 months pass, and suddenly I get a message. Adrian, can you help me? We got to make a video real quick. And we coached and we made a video update for Richard, and then they sent him over to Necker Island. He got the job running Richard Branson's island. Dreams take time. Dreams take time. Now he's in Necker Island. He's over in the Seychelles right now, about to open one of the biggest luxury resorts. Not Mauritius, Seychelles, close. So he's over there about to open up a new place, right? To tell you the truth, right? If I had him as a client today, if he was my very first coaching client, it would be hard. Because he's done so much coaching with me, it will be hard for people to coach him. Yeah. Some people, when they're really high up in the level of development, or they've done a year or two of coaching, or maybe they've done personal development courses, they might require a high level of skill. If you want to do executive coaching or professional coaching, where you're getting paid at least $300 an hour, if you're going to go at that level, you need a higher level of skill. That's not for first year coaches. Yeah. But first year coaches, there are people for you. You can coach at all levels of the spectrum. Darko probably could have coached 3 or 4 years ago. So wherever you are, you can start creating clients. The thing is, don't aim to be an executive coach if you're not there yet. Aim above your weight, but not too far above. Yeah, don't be too crazy. We have this thing called neurological levels from NLP, developed by Robert Dilts. There are lots of different ways or levels in which you can coach people. You can coach people in terms of spirituality. You can coach people in terms of their identity, how they see themselves. You can help coach people with their values. You can coach people on their beliefs. Coach them on their capabilities. Coach them on their behaviors. Hey, you could be a feng shui coach and help them organize their environment around home. There are many different levels where you can coach. So you can provide a lot of growth for people and open up a lot of windows, because most people don't even know about this. You teach people this kind of model, they start to grow. Okay, so coaching is not about you. Coaching is a process. It's a journey through insights. It starts with a conversation. When it becomes more structured, then it becomes a coaching conversation. When it becomes fully structured, with a specific start time, finish time, fees, objectives, an agreement in place, and some expectations, then you have your full coaching. But it starts with a conversation. Creating clients is just about starting a conversation and getting more and more structure around it. So question, how hard is it to start a conversation? Not that hard. Add more and more structure around it until it becomes a coaching conversation. Then you have your clients. Now, when it comes to these conversations, you can start with people face-to-face is best, because a lot of people know there's BS on the internet. So when they meet face-to-face, that is the primary place to start. Start face-to-face. Message your old friends. Message your neighbors if you want. Message your family friends. There's a furphy getting around the coaching schools that you shouldn't coach family and friends. That's BS. The intention is you shouldn't jeopardize friendships and family, perhaps, but you can coach family and friends. It's not the best way to do it. It's better coaching older friends, long distance friends, people you haven't seen for a long time, people you care about. Now, you're obviously going to have a conversation, and that's it. Start with your conversation. Ask questions. Ask some less obvious questions. Like a less obvious question like, what haven't you thought of yet? Or what's on the edge of your thinking, which could make a big difference. Some people will say, get a niche. And they'll say the first thing you should do is get a niche. No, you can get a niche. You can get a niche and start there, but you can also start broad and coach anyone on anything. I like the idea of starting broad and finding out what you like and getting a variety of problems. But you can go niche or broad. Both ways work, as long as you start those conversations face to face. Yeah. If you can't talk face to face, just get coaching on it. It's going to be a lot easier and a lot quicker for you to get a coaching relationship going face to face than trying to do a web page, a business site, social media marketing, showing all this proof, case studies, all this stuff, right? So just start with the conversation with them. If anyone here, I say again, if anyone here was at the Shanghai Coaching Circle, their last session with Chip Fairlane, please let me know if anyone was there. If anyone from here was there, I'd like to hear your key points. There was a workshop the other day by someone else regarding this topic just here, talking with potential clients. So your questions are going to be largely what questions, like most good coaching questions, what, who, how questions. Your questions like, what are your goals? What's your motivation behind those goals? That's chunking up a level. Go up, chunk up, or chunk down and get more specific. Some people will respond better if you chunk up. For what purpose? Some will like it when you chunk down, saying how specifically. But if the person you're talking to knows all this, it's not going to take up much brain power, and they might start to think, why are you asking me these questions? But if you have them thinking stuff that no one else has asked them, all their brain power is going to be on those questions and getting the experience. So if you ask them more original questions or questions that have them thinking in different directions, they will enjoy talking with you more. You guys came here because you wanted to know what I had to talk about. You wanted a result. So while you're talking, ask some questions no one else is thinking about. After asking some of these questions, you can start to, they're going to ask you why, or what do you know about this, or what's with these questions, you know. You're going to be curious. You're going to be interested. And in your mind, you want to be interested, genuinely interested and curious with them. If your real intention and heart is interested and curious, the rest will come out automatically and easily. Say something along the lines of that. I found coaching to be excellent for things like this. Yeah. I'm looking for a couple of people to work with. Now, when I've got the ... it's better if you mention what they say. So I'm talking to my next door neighbor. He's struggling with his teenager. I'm talking to my next door neighbor. He's struggling with his teenager. I say to my next door neighbor, hey, well, what are your goals? You know, well, why do you want this behavior from her? How do you plan to make this happen for her? And then he starts to say, oh, hey, why are you asking me these questions? I say to him, well, look, I found coaching to be an excellent things like working with parents to help them manage and get amazing insights for their kids. I'm looking for a couple of people to work with in relationship to helping parents get excellent results with their kids. It's easy, it's effective, and it saves you both time and money. Oh, makes sense? Bit of a key phrase in there. It saves you time and money. Most people will use the following objections. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I got to ask the missus. Yeah. So eliminate them. If people don't want to buy your products, it's not about your products. And this is a big thing. I didn't write it down here. If someone doesn't take your coaching, it's not about you. Not about you. Don't take it personally. If they've never invested in coaching before, if my neighbor has never invested in coaching before and he doesn't hire me or he doesn't pay me, it's no big deal. He's never hired a coach before. It's a bit harsh to expect that I'm going to be the first. Most people have not paid money on coaching. So your coaching, when you get to sales and the sales call, your sales call is largely helping them get the confidence to invest in themselves. How do you get your client to get the trust to invest in themselves? You coach them on it. You might actually coach your potential client. You might actually coach your potential client into becoming a coach. If you work with mothers, a lot of mothers are so busy putting their families first. A lot of mothers, they would do anything for their kids, and they will often do it. They will give to anyone else, but they will put themselves last. Therefore, they often won't buy your coaching because they need to be coached into it. Make sense? Use your own stories and the stories from your colleagues to promote coaching. Therefore, you guys can now say to your coach, hey, my coach was saying that most people don't invest in coaching because they're not used to investing in themselves. Have you ever coached? Have you ever invested in yourself? Ask your client, have they ever invested in themselves? If they haven't, you're going to coach them on that. Couple more little points that help with these first conversations. I've spent $100,000 on my training. Okay, most people will say I've spent $5,000 or I've spent $10,000 on my training. When I say to you, I've spent $100,000 on coaching, what goes on your head? Your head should go $100,000. Then you should imagine for a split second, you should imagine $100,000. Then I say my coach charges $500 per session. What goes in your head? This is expensive. This is expensive. It's worth a lot of money. It's expensive. I'd be happy for a pretty small but fair fee. You want to start with these big numbers and then say, hey, I'm happy to work for less. I'm in training. I haven't finished my training. Sorry, no, maybe not. I haven't finished my training. Maybe say you're in training, and because you're early, the first 20 clients I work with all get half price. But anyway, what's more important is what would work for you. What would work excellently well for you. Move the conversation quickly towards what will work excellently for you. No, we haven't set a price yet. We haven't set a price. We've given the impression that coaching is very valuable. I'm happy to do it for less for my first 20 clients, but what's more important is what would work excellently for you. Start figuring out when it could work, perhaps. Tell them we can do brainstorming, soundboarding, and if I've got some coaching processes around helping teenagers, whatever kind of problems they've shared, tell them you have some processes around it. And let's say a lot of people talk about procrastination. Get yourself a process around procrastination. And again, mention how it saves you or it saves them time and effort. This makes your coaching a no-brainer. No, I'm not going to hire you. I want to waste my time and money instead. Said nobody ever. So your first sessions may end up being unofficial sessions. As I said, you might have a conversation and you might gradually put a bit more structure around it, or maybe you have a conversation and boom, you make a sale. Either way, your very first conversations, I like to get them to sitting down and actually talking and making some notes. I like to have them write out some key points. If they have a 1 hour call with me and they've written down nothing, then they kind of walk away with nothing. Yeah? It's important that they write a few things down. So ask them, hey, can you write this out? Hey, can you write this out? Every now and then ask them, hey, drop this out, write this out. Give them a reminder, hey, write this out. Don't take anything personally. Don't take a note personally. They haven't invested themselves, right? You might want to write that out. In your first sessions, ask a couple of times, is this of value to you? If this isn't a great value to you, where would you like to take it so it is? That question, where would you like to take it so it is? Presupposition in there. At the end of the session, confirm value and do a good future pace. ICF coaches often go through the GROW model, G-R-O-W, W being way forward, but they often don't do a future pace. Do a really good future pace. If you do a good future pace, you're a lot more likely to get this person as a client. Talk and act as if you both want to do more coaching. In your mind, if you're like, oh, that was a waste of time. They don't like me. They don't like me. It'll come across automatically in your body language. Instead, you want to hold confidence. Talk and act as if this has been great, hasn't it? It's been a good use of time. You got a lot of notes there. Wonderful. You know, and next week, if we do, or next week in future, we can do procrastination. We can walk with that. We can work with that. We can work with that. We could do a lot more.